Hey, what's up, guys? This is Suraj.
And this is Shal.
Today we are with 6S. Let's
Let's
start.
start. An argument could be made about iPhone 6s having riding more on its shoulder compared to other S devices from Apple.
The reason was the Android devices, especially of Samsung, are catching up. Are they catching
Anything
up?
up?
We can say so because last year 4.7-inch display was real in acknowledgement, and this year 12 MP camera is real acceptance to the market.
So does Apple iPhone 6 do what it's meant to do? Is everything as rosy for Apple as it is meant to be?
Let's find out. Now let's first take a look
Oh.
at inside the box.
Yes. Now let's come to my favorite part, the phone's build and design.
What you see is what you get here, unless you are iPhone 6 user. The iPhone 6s looks exactly like its predecessor. The fact that it's heavier is more apparent. But what you feel more is the new alloy that Apple has used to avoid its bending issues. The iPhone 6s feels more sturdier than iPhone 6 and less prone to the damages. Also, the phone doesn't feel as slippery as iPhone 6 did, meaning you can do without a cover for this one.
The size overall is just right for a phone and leaves Apple as one of the few OEMs that still makes flagship phone this size.
Moving towards the display, the 4.7-inch 750 into 1334 pixel display just worked for this phone and it remains the same this year. The display is good for all intent and purpose. No appeal look bad and the image looks as good as they are supposed to be. Frankly speaking, that QHD display holds nothing over the Retina display, but there's still a problem, and that is, you can feel the difference now. What do you say?
I say that the displays on the Galaxy S6 or the LG G4 are not better, but it's just that they really feel different. The warmth of those displays may be liked by many other people, but still.
I think that if you like the true source of colors, Apple is the best, and there is no denying
Denying
that. The elephant in the room for iPhone 6s is the new tech that Apple has put in, the 3D Touch. The currently 3D Touch gestures are available only on the selective system app. You can use it on the lock screen, home screen and within apps. Force click on iPhone app gives you a create new contact key, a shortcut list and recently contact people. On camera, take photo, take selfie, record videos and record slow motion.
3D Touch is meant to allow you to get more content than you normally get on a screen, so that you can give it a quick glance and let it go. All of this with just one firm long press. In Instagram, if you peep on a profile picture, it will give you a glance of the profile and further popping it to the actual profile. For us, it was a cool feature. Given the chance, 3D Touch may turn to be a breakthrough that will shape smartphone usage for years to come, similar to what Apple did with multi-touch or the fingerprint sensor. Now let us move to the performance of the phone.
The new generation iPhone is powered by the brand new Apple A9 chipset, which packs a dual-core 1.85 GHz Twister processor. Power via GT7600, 6-core graphics and 2 GB RAM. The chips are made either by Samsung on 14nm process and TSMC on 16nm process. All of this means that A9 has the more processing power, a stronger GPU punch, double the RAM and better thermal properties.
Apple has always focused on single core performance since it is the most important one when it comes to the interacting with the iOS user interface. And early tests showed that the 64-bit Twister core is the best and fastest CPU currently on the market. On the other hand, you are only getting two of those. So we'll see how it goes.
Apple A9 has the power to handle everything that you can get on your phone today.
It is also the future proof for the upcoming years that it will have some huge power resources under its hood.
Moving to the camera. The iPhone 6s brings a long overdue camera resolution upgrade. After sticking to 8MP sensor for the 4 generations, Apple finally upgrades its iPhone main camera to a 12MP image. A front camera has received an upgrade to 5MP as well. Both sensors retain as the same f2.2 aperture.
The more powerful chipset and the new 12MP sensor allows the iPhone 6s to capture 4K video recording among the other new models. Plus, it enables the so-called live photos. This is a familiar feature for the first HTC One. The camera captures 1.5 second video either side of the moment you hit the shutter, and it saves it as an animated photos.
The front camera, as we said, is now 5MP support auto HDR and 1080 video capturing. It can also use the screen as retina flash. The screen goes white as soon as you hit the camera capture button, with the brightness 300% higher than the usual maximum. This helps if you shooting indoors and up close.
The front camera is fixed focus, but you can control and lock the exposure setting with a tap and hold. The camera interface is the same as before. If you tap to focus, the phone will give you a control over exposure through a slider. This way you can conveniently adjust exposure composition depending on the scene. You can lock the focus and exposure as well.
Along the left side of the camera viewfinder, you will find the control for setting the front camera, setting up the timer, choosing the HDR mode, turning live photos on or off, and setting the flash.
On the right side on each side of the virtual shutter button, you get two swipe controls that will take you into the photos, square and pano mode. On one side and video slow-mo and time-lapse. To activate the burst mode, you just need to press the camera shutter longer.
The colors and the contrast are great, while the dynamic range is simply greater. We will turn the auto HDR off and yet the image came out great, which is really something given the tough weather condition.
Thanks to the higher resolution sensor of the iPhone 6s, now we are able to record videos at 2160p for 30 frames per second and 1080p videos at 30 and 60 frames per second.
There is an additional feature too, 1080p at 120 fps and 720p at 240 fps for slow-mo purpose. iPhone 6s might be the best product coming out of the Cupertino in last few years. 3D Touch is not popular yet, but in next future years it may be. And regardless of the iPhone 4, iPhone has bring out its best game and launched the iPhone 6s in the market, and it is tremendously fast.
Now, it was a high time that it rediscovered its passion for innovation. It may be a big win or a big flop, but the credit is certainly due for its new trying.
iPhone 6s is the best in the market now, and you should go for it.
Do not forget to kill the subscribe button. Videos at 30 and 60 frames per second. And there goes he.